What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we're exploring a new manga, Mobile Suit Unicorn Gundam Testament. In this story, we jump around through Universal Century as we see key moments. We see it through an interesting perspective. If you're a fan of Gundam development and history, this might be the manga for you. In this episode, we will focus on the Delta Gundam, along with the Jim, Dom, and Zaku history. We also get a look at the full armor Gundams throughout history. So let's get into this. UC 0093. Char Aznable attempts to plunge Axis onto Earth. The man who pilots Sazabi is said to be the true son of Zeon Daikun. He helped free many from being weighed down by gravity. UC 0087. The man named Char wanted to live by the ideals of his father without needing the privilege that comes with it. This is why he donned the name Quattro Bagina. He fought for Spacenoids based off of the ideals of his father. He helped usher in the Rick Diaz, a representation of the next step in mobile suit development. This is thanks to both the new Gundarium Alloy Gamma and the movable frame. For more on this, check out our coverage of Zeta Define, Zeta, and the return of Johnny Raiden to get a better understanding of development history. Maybe throw in Char's deleted affair as well. This allowed for the development of mobile suits like the Hyakushiki and the Mega Bazooka launcher. This also made its reappearance at the end of Johnny Raiden. We see the final battle between Quattro and Haman, with the Hyakushiki remains drifting off. You see 0079, we see Char and the Jiang, a man at his wits' ends. A person who tried to seek vengeance for his family. He wants his soul to be free from gravity, but he too is weighed down. The death of a cosmic space bird is what sets him off on a different path. The man named Char continues to be bound by his birthright. We then see Char and the Zagak infiltrating Jabril. This was Zeon's stunning achievement in amphibious mobile suit technologies. But during this battle, like many before, he was thwarted by the Gundam. We go back to the beginning of OG Gundam. An injured Cassius Palo is frightened just by hearing the name Char. Char became a legend amongst the people in the MS-06 Zaku, Zeonic's pride and joy. With a 30% increase in power output, this is the mobile suit that turned Char Aznable into the Red Comet. UC 0096, a signal of more fighting to come. The Sinanju launches. The pilot is said to be the second coming of the Red Comet. It seems that the person observing Universal Century is someone that exists in a sort of amniotic fluid, deep underground on the moon. A new program is being developed. This is the Delta program. They begin running simulations. The omniscient presence continues watching. The Delta Gundam takes on a few Hyzaks. The MSN 001 Delta Gundam is a transformable mobile suit under the Zeta project. However, due to the lack of strength in the transformation system, it wasn't viable, and they decided to opt out of the transformation mechanism, which turns this mobile suit into the Hyakushiki. We will learn that the real reason is because Anaheim Electronics didn't want to give EFF too much power. However, this will go on to be the basis for the Delta Plus. Weapons include 60mm Vulcans, the same beam rifle used by the Hyakushiki, and a shield which stores its beam saber. As more mobile suits surround the Delta Gundam, the movable frame gets an error while transforming to Wave Rider mode. The reason Delta Gundam wasn't adapted was because of an issue with the transformation mechanism. We are seeing this happen in real time. UC 0087. Quattro is talking to Ashtenage. Both are looking up at the Hyakushiki. Ashtenage says that it is called the Hyakushiki because it will last 100 years. But that is just marketing talk to deflect from the fact that they couldn't deliver on the Delta Gundam. They hit a wall and were provided an inferior product than what they wanted, albeit still one of the best. They need something on the level of the Rick Diaz. The flexible binders of the Hyakushiki made it superior in speed and agility. Whoever is watching this refers to this as their genesis. We are seeing a mobile suit's perspective. That's a lot to unpack. I'm just going to ignore the existential questions and keep moving forward. His existence allowed for the birth of his siblings. This is the full armor Hyakushiki Kai, the Hyakushiki Kai mass production type, the Hyakushiki Kai, and the Hyakushiki Kai ground type. The MSK 100S Land Combat Hyakushiki Kai, or ground type, is an improved variant of the Hyakushiki Kai for ground use. This was mainly used by Kuraba against the Titans. Where the Gem 2s and Nemos fail, this unit shines. The Land Combat Hyakushiki Kai has water and dust-proof seals. This unit can fight in the streets, in the forest, land marshes, deserts, etc., and can even work underwater for a short period of time. Weapons include 60mm Vulcans, a beam saber, hand grenades, a through-tube missile pod, a beam cannon, and a shield with a grenade launcher. The 100S full armor Hyakushiki Kai is the Kai equipped with additional heavy armor. The full armor Hyakushiki Kai wields a long Mega Buster, which is a huge rifle based on the Mega Bazooka launcher used by the original Hyakushiki. Other weapons include a 2-tube missile pod, a beam pulsar gun, 2 beam sabers, a Mega Particle Cannon, and a beam cannon. It has anti-beam coating as well. Speed is decreased due to weight. We broke down the Hyakushiki Kai and the Kai mass production type in Side Story of Zeta and Gundam Werewolf. UC 0092. Ashtanaj is looking over the Delta Gundam data when Chan comes in. He tells her that Anaheim Electronics told them that they couldn't make this. Little did they know at the time that they didn't want the AUG and tangentially the Federation from getting too strong. Anaheim Electronics is no amateur when it comes to using human lives for financial gain. They are concerned that Char is going to drop an asteroid on the planet while they turn their backs. On the screen is the Delta Plus blueprints. Now they are certain they can build this mobile suit, but the Federation would never give them the budget to make it happen. Perhaps another time. We cut to the future where the Delta Plus has finally become a reality. We see it being operated by Riddy. UC 0096. The Battle of Palau. Banana is fighting when he runs across a Dryson. We roll the clock back to UC 0079. Earth. Testing for this unit started on Earth, and it started with the original Dom and the Black Tri-Stars. After training, they head back to the Dobde. Gaia mentions that operating the Dom is like gliding in space. It is the perfect unit to pull off the jet stream attack. During the Battle of Odessa, the Black Tri-Stars faced the Gundam. Amado took down one of the Tri-Stars. After that, the Dom lived on in space as the Rick Dom. UC 0083. We see variants like the Dom Tropin and the Tropical Test Type on Earth as Zeon remnants continue the evolution of the Dom in their own way. In UC 0088, we see the evolution of the Dom in the Dawaj, which went up against Judo and Double Zeta Gundam. Back in UC 0096, Banana takes on one Dryson. He unleashes a Gatling gun onto the Dryson, destroying it. But it seems that death is not the end for this Dryson. He joins his Dom brethren in Dom Heaven, where the eternal battle awaits. The Earth Federation forces have become an unyielding force that is unstoppable. Some equate it to the power of God. December 31st, UC 0079. The Federation unleashes their new gems onto a Baoku. Zeon proclaimed themselves as false gods, but the force of the Federation put a stop to that. The 4th team advances on the Zeon front, or should I say the immortal 4th. We see Moncha, Alpha, and Chap swoop in. Above comes their commander, Lieutenant Burning. He praises his men. While fighting, the team spots the Gundam on the battlefield. The Gem looks on as they witness the machine that bore them. This was merely the start between the Gundam and the Cyclops mobile suits of Zeon. UC 0083. We see the fallen angels of the past. These are GPO-1 and GPO-2. Both sides are being tested physically. We cut to the second colony drop during the Delaz conflict. Conflict breeds more conflict. UC 0084. The cycle of violence continues as the Titans are born. Their attempt to thwart conflict only grows more conflict. But during this time, the Gem has only grown stronger, while the Zaku line of mobile suits do the same. UC 0093. Char's Rebellion. The pinnacle of the Gem line, the Jagan, goes up against the pinnacle of the Zaku line, the Gyaradoga. They fight until both units are swarmed by a green cosmic glow. The two forces both attempt to stop Axis from falling to Earth. UC 0096. The Fat Unicorn, also known as Alberto Vist, has Marita Cruz as his Newtype prisoner. He is looking at the UC project. He looks over the data. During this generation, the Zaku lives on in the Girazulu, while the Gem lives on in the Jesta. However, while these two line of mobile suits have been fighting, there has always been a Gundam that led the path. On board Londo Bell's ship, the Rockeye Loom, are 12 new Jestas ready for testing. On board the Nahil Argama, Takuya is talking to Banana about the full armor designs for the Unicorn Gundam. Also, Minerva is there as well. Banana gives Takuya a hard time, but the mechanic Mr. Gibney suggests he cut his friend some slack and try out the full armor design. We cut back to UC 0079, where the full armor variant began with the Heavy Gundam. The Heavy Gundam goes up against the Perfect Jion. A heavy armor Gundam can throw as much armor as they like, but neither the mightiest weapon nor the most impenetrable armor can shield the warrior's soul, whatever that means. UC 0088. Purutu is in Queen Mansa going up against Judo in the full armor Double Zeta Gundam. In UC 0093, Amado goes up against Alpha Izeru. Back in UC 0096, the full armor Unicorn Gundam launches. Banana is as powerful as an entire fleet. The Gundam breaks through the front lines and attacks a Musaka-class ship. Banager faces Angelo in the Rosen Zulu. He also had to face off against another Unicorn Gundam. This is all done in the name of power. This chapter is called Purgatory's Dance and focuses on the demons that consume us. In Gundam's case, particular systems that take over one's soul. It is a nod to Dante's Divine Comedy. The feast is among us. Many run away as a mobile suit runs through the city. It happens to be Blue Destiny. Yu Kajima can sense that Nimbus is coming. The Ifrit rushes in and the two clash. UC 0084. The Demon Blade system is activated. Two strikers fight one another. One happens to be Ito Tsurugi of the BGSD team. I assume the other one is Yuji. This is the first reference to the BGSD team outside of Gundam Katana. The Hooligan Saga is one of my favorites, so I appreciate the nod. UC 0087. Camille and 4 fall in love, but the two found themselves on opposite sides of the war, and 4 was taken down. Rosamia soon followed. This demon that lives inside Camille consumed him until one day it snapped when Camille penetrated Sirocco. Heh. UC 0088. The demon continues to haunt Judo as he fights against Haman. UC 0093. For a moment, New Gundam seemed to be able to contain the demons in all of us, but that didn't last long. UC 0096. The demons continued in the form of the NTD system. Banana fights against Marita. We also see the moment Unicorn and Banshee meet for the first time after the Battle of Dakar. This next chapter paints the concept of envy as viney thorns, slowly grasping you until you can't break free. However, while reading this chapter, it feels more like hate than envy. The only reason I know envy is the writer's true intentions is because he tells you at the end of the volume. Here we see the Psychomu system Zaku from Thunderbolt. Is that a Zaku with sword arms? UC 0079. The Jiang fights against the Gundam. The vines of envy grow. UC 0083. They continue growing as the new Zeal fights the Dendrobium on the battlefield. The two surrender to their desires. Their envy is like petals on the vine. I thought it was the knots. I'm losing track of the metaphor. UC 0088. Their envy manifests in Mashimer's desires to please Haman. It manifests through loyalty. Mashimer is piloting the Hamahama. The Hamahama is like a show pony, a tool to show the return to aristocracy under Haman's crusades. UC 0089. Mashimer is now in the thick of the battle. He has undergone cyber Newtype enhancements and now pilots the Zaku 3. Petals start to wilt. UC 0096. Banana is fighting against the Rosen Zulu. For the sleeves to stop a wilting flower, one must stop the Gundam. This next chapter is about how humans play God, focusing on Anaheim Electronics. The writer is going for a 7 deadly sins thing. This chapter is about gluttony. Mankind is all about technological leaps. Godhood requires more than mere technological advancement. It needs humanity to take a leap as well. The solution to this in Universal Century is newtypes. But those who achieve technological godhood use it the only way humans know how to. Through capitalism, bitch. Cash money. UC 0083. Mami Chima is talking to O'Sullivan. Anaheim Electronics is working with the Federation, but have no qualms going against the Federation to help rogue Xeon remnants with their needs. Chima says that Fetties and Zeeks fight one another, but it is people like O'Sullivan who truly make the world a worse place. He says that he is just trying to be of service to their clients. But controlling the weapons means controlling the outcome. They give her the Gerber Tetra and she too gets a taste of what it's like to be a god fighting above Earth, but she too falls. UC 0087. Playing God came in the form of authoritarianism via the Titans. The people of Earth fought against the gods in this case. UC 0088. This passed to the hands of Neo Zeon. UC 0093. Some form of balance returns as the power of God is finally taken out of the hands of humans. Amino and Char have their final battle, and the Psycho Wave brings forth an equilibrium. But man will always try to become a god. UC 0094. Martha Vist is talking to Alberto. Neo-Zeon remnants are starting to dwindle, and so too with it their profits. Time to start a war, I guess. Alberto looks up at Unicorn Gundam. A battle breaks out near a Klopp-class ship. The Federation fights off a red mobile suit. It is full frontal. He breaks into the ship and steals the Sinanju Stein. Before killing a man, he tells him that he is just fulfilling a role, and thus humans wield the power of God once again. This chapter is supposedly about sin and lust. Once upon a time, time, a man talked about how humans need a new mode of thinking now that they have moved into space. This man is Xian Dai-Kum, and this was Newtype theory. The concept of newtypes, however, was perverted over time. Many were used merely as tools for war. They were used to push idealism and religion, and were propped up to convince millions to die on the battlefield. The newtypes were seen more as a curse. It brings only suffering. UC 0079. We return to the battle between Lala, Char, and Amado. It is said that the curse should have been stopped in this moment. Amado tries to kill Char and ends up killing Lala. Humanity's sins hold them back. UC 0087. The curse continues as Haman and Char fight. Haman is cursed by the past. UC 0088. Two sisters are passionately driven for different reasons. One for Big Bro Judo, and the other for the groomer Glimmy. These are the Puru twins. We also see the Gamalk in action. Karasun was also driven by passion. UC 0093. The Psychofield wipes out the curse for a little bit. However, in UC 0096, the curse continues. Unicorn fights against Kshatriya. They provide no value and cause nothing but pain. Unicorn Gundam wishes for someone to kill it. This next chapter is called Ashtarte's Devotion. Ashtarte is a goddess of war. This chapter supposedly represents sloth. The writer tries to portray this through giant mobile armors seen throughout time, and does so in a motherly approach. This is supposedly a reference to Ultraman's mother, but I don't know, man. UC 0079. If faith for the people gives birth to gods, then mobile suits were surely that. The 8th MS team goes up against the Asperis. At that same time, in space, the Big Zam terrorizes the Federation's fleet. The one-year wars described as primordial stew where one hopes something new comes out of it. The Jiang goes up against the Gundam. UC 0083. Gato crashes and burns in the New Zeal. UC 0089. Glimmy is killed in the Queen Manza, and Puru is saved by Judo, but she too passes away. UC 0093. Quest is killed by Chan. Oh hey, they went with the movie outcome rather than Beltorchica's children. UC 0096. Lonnie in the Shamblo is taken out by the Beam Magnum. Conflict is no longer necessary. It seems it is the Neo Xiong who is talking. It wants to give birth to New World Order. Banana and Riddy face off against Full Frontal, who opens up a new type time portal. Banana fights with the spirit of Grandpa Gundam. Through time, we have seen nothing but pain. The battlefield is scattered with remains of some of your favorite mobile suits. The former chapters were meant to be Purgatory. This is meant to be Paradise. It is supposed to be a path forward, a path that a particular Phoenix can supposedly travel to in the future. After the craziest new type trip ever, Full Frontal left his body and went to the new type realm. Many thought this curse would end right here and there. The ripples of Char and Amado are finally at rest. But that wasn't the case. UC 105. Sai Gundam fights against Penelope. The curse seems to continue on with the next generation. UC 123. Seabook and F91 fights against Crossbone Vanguard. The disparity gap grows wider. UC 133. The ripples of Seabook's battles continue as he becomes the pirate Kincaid, piloting Crossbone Gundam. UC 153. The curse continues on with young Uso as he fights in Victory Gundam against the Zanskar Empire. The narrator refers to them as a wounded soul who burns bright when light is absent. This pain doesn't just transcend time, it transcends beyond Universal Century. FC-60. Domankashu's hand burns bright as he fights in the 13th Gundam fight. He bears the sins of his family. AC-195. Operation Meteor begins and Gundam Wing heads towards Earth. Hiro Yui bears no burden. He's perfect in every way and is just better than you. You have to deal with it. After War 15. Garad pilots GX. Cosmic Era 70. Kira Yamato gets into Strike Gundam for the first time. AD 2307. Setsuna pilots Exia. AG 115. One family and 3 generations are figuring out this whole peace thing. Correct Century 2345. Turn A Gundam unleashes Moonlight Butterfly. RG 1014. G-Cell fights even in a time when there should be peace. Post-Disaster 323. Barbie protects Tekadon. Throughout time, there is nothing but pain. But also, in every universe, there is a Gundam trying to fight against the pain. Unicorn is able to see it all. This is happening while Unicorn is tanking the colony laser. Like all the other universes, Unicorn does its part to protect its universe. Unicorn Gundam spreads its wings and flies off into the cosmos, supposedly leaving a path for Phoenix Gundam. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn Testament. This manga may come off as pointless, and in many ways it is, but it is a reminder to ask questions. For Gundam, that question is, why does one fight, and what is its purpose? The mobile suits may get cooler, the lines in the sand may change, and technology may continue to advance, but it always comes down to questioning why one fights. It's about realizing the burdens of war and the repercussions of those involved. It's about accountability, or a lack of accountability in Anaheim Electronics' case. In many ways, this manga is a reminder not to become the person in the wow cool robot meme. Let me know down in the comments if there's any Gundam mangas out there that are in the same vein of Gundam Testament. Is there any other obscure manga that fell between the cracks on this channel that you think we should cover? But that will do it for now, Newtypes. Remember, it's more than just the pew-pews. Peace.